My name is Eric Cartman, and I am so excited you are here learning about your intuition. Okay, you're probably wondering, why is Jeff talking to me like a South Park character? Well, that is because today we're talking about clairaudience. And clairaudience is clear hearing, and that is being able to hear with our inner ear, and that is connected to the throat chakra. Now, the reason I did a funny, silly voice is because to be able to do that, you have to be able to hear and discern, the different kind of tones in someone's voice and what it sounds like. Well, that's going to be an important piece of this clairaudience, because clairaudience is all about hearing with our inner ear, not just being able to recognize our internal dialogue, but being able to recognize what I call like the voice of loving awareness, hearing the voice of spiritual guidance, hearing the voice of the divine creator. All that has a very sort of distinct, I want to call it a sound, but really it's more of a vibe. And it's our ability to hear with our inner ear. So if you're someone who's a musician, or you work with sound in some way, sound is part of this, so I'll go back. It's not just about hearing with our inner ear, a voice or voices. It's about hearing with our inner ear. It could be sounds and tones, music and melodies and rhythms. That's an important dimension of this as well. So you might, if you're a musician, if you're a poet, if you're a writer, if you're a singer or a speaker, there's a really good chance that this intuitive sense might be something you're already very connected to. You might get your creative ideas for your songs through this sort of clairaudient ability, the ability to kind of seemingly, hear a tune from the ethers or a rhythm, or a melody, and then speak it into existence. That's a dimension of clairaudience. It's really cool. Me being able to hear the voice of Eric Cartman, a fictional cartoon character, and then, repeat it or reflect it and mimic it, actually is a bit of an expression of this clairaudient ability. So if you're someone who can do impersonations, who is a singer, you can work with music, if you've got good rhythm and timing, again, this could be a strong intuitive sense for you. Very specifically, what we're going to work on today is we're going to walk through a couple basic exercises that'll help you tune into the inner ear and the intuitive ear. We're going to focus mostly on hearing. We're kind of going to walk through the voice piece of it, because being able to discern our inner dialogue from the voice of intuition or the voice of inspiration, the voice of loving awareness, is a really important part. At least it has been an important aspect of my journey. So I want to be able to share that with you, because the one thing that people ask the most in the workshops when I do them, it's how do I know when I'm working with my intuition and when it's just me making stuff up? And so I referred to us having to practice a lot when it comes to our clairvoyance, right? That's part of it. Also, learning more about our intuitive body and how intuitive information comes in helps us understand that. When it comes to our clairaudience, there's a little bit of a shortcut, and that little bit of the shortcut for being able to discern between kind of like our inner dialogue and the voice of loving awareness, it really does come down to like the tone and the frequency and how the inner voice kind of makes us feel. So the one thing I will say is the voice of loving awareness is exactly that. It's loving, it's gentle, it's kind. A lot of times the voice of our inner dialogue, the monkey mind, or kind of like our ego and our inner critic, can come off as kind of harsh, kind of cold. It's critiquing, criticizing. Sometimes it can be demeaning and hypercritical. And that's a lot of times what I think we're struggling with. We're learning how to work to discern between that part of ourselves that's going to shut things down and scare us and tell us not to do certain things, or that it's not okay to do those things, and then moving into that space of loving awareness where there's like that gentle, loving, supportive, reassuring voice that reminds you, it's like, it's going to be okay, everything's okay, and it's not going to critique, it's not going to put you into competition mode, it's not fight or flight. It's a very different experience. So I'm going to try to get into that and explore that for you today. We'll try to tune you into that sense, and I have a trick for that. But yeah, we're gonna focus on kind of the inner voice. We'll also work with the inner ear and just see if you can tap into some music too. So if you're ready, you're tired of hearing me yammer, let's do it. So go ahead and let's get to energy neutral real quick. Let's do 3 big energy clearing breaths. First, take a big deep breath in. Exhale, release. Breathing out, relaxing. Another big deep breath in. Exhale, release. Good, one more time, big deep breath in. Exhale, release. Turn your awareness and your breath to your throat chakra, just at the base of the neck. Close your eyes to kind of remove any distractions, so you can just focus on the prompts and the sound of your inner voice. And as you breathe, just kind of inhale and exhale, breathing in a vibrant kind of turquoise blue light into that throat chakra. Activate it, turn it on, charge it up. And just turn on that intuitive hearing, that intuitive psychic hearing. Feel those ears get real clear, your mind get clear as you breathe. And listening deeply with your inner ear, see if you can create for yourself the sound of your favorite song. And as you continue to breathe and listen, pay attention to what part stands out. Is it the music? Is it the beat? Is it the vocals? Just continue to breathe, setting that intention to hear your favorite song, and just listen. Are you hearing the music? Are you hearing the beat? Are you hearing the vocals? Take a big deep breath in. Exhale, release. Now, with your inner voice and in your inner ear, count from 1 to 10. Now count down backwards, 10 to 1, with your inner voice. Take a big deep breath in. Exhale, release. See if in your inner ear you can create or hear the voice of maybe a favorite cartoon character. And if you can make out what that voice is, see if you can make out what's being said. Take a big deep breath in. Exhale, release. Now imagine like your favorite TV character or your favorite movie character. See if you can create their voice and imagine them singing you happy birthday. So take a big deep breath in. See if you can find the voice of your favorite TV or movie character, and you exhale. See if you can hear them singing you happy birthday. Take a big deep breath in. Exhale, release. Now, with your inner ear, imagine the voice of somebody who really loves you and who you really love. Imagine them saying your name and that they love you and support you. Call in the voice of someone you love and who really loves you, and just imagine them saying your name. I love you and I support you. Take a big deep breath in. Exhale, release. And now you're going to go ahead and ask your higher self and divine loving awareness, what's the one word I need to hear today for my highest loving truth, for my highest loving good? What is the one word I need to hear today for my highest loving good? On the exhale, just allow whatever word to emerge. Take a big deep breath in. Exhale, release. Kind of close your inner ears and open your physical ears back to the present moment. I heard peace. Peace. So I'll definitely be focusing on that today for sure. What word did you hear? What word came up? And how was that experience? I would love to know. Please let me know in the discussion. What we worked through there, not unlike the clairvoyance, we worked with kind of a mix of imagination and memory to kind of create those sounds for ourselves in our inner ear. You know, we worked with the music piece, not just hearing the song, but, you know, is there a part that jumps out? You know, is it the tune? Is it the music? You know, is it the guitar riff? Is it the melody of the vocals? Is it the beat? Just pay attention to that, you know, what comes in and how it comes up, what stands out. That could be telling you something. As we moved along, we got into that voice of loving awareness. The reason why I asked you to imagine someone that you love and then someone who loves you, telling you that they love you and support you, I use that because the quality and the tone that comes through when we imagine someone we love saying something very comforting like that to us, that is how I've come to sort of identify what I call the voice of loving awareness. This has been a part of my life since I was a teenager. This was part of like the first experiences I had. When I first got into meditation and I first met my spirit guides and I first opened up to this idea that we can't even dialogue with these higher dimensions of consciousnness and spiritual beings and you know, the loving creator. When that became a possibility, that was the thing that stood out the most. I was very clairvoyant. I would see visuals a lot and I would hear words as if someone was just talking to me. And that's how that has come in. It's a very strong intuitive sense for me. It still works that way. When I do readings, I still channel for myself in that way. I write what I'm hearing and as it comes. And it always feels like just a soothing, reassuring, comforting. It's very honest. It can be honest, but it's still gentle. And that's the beautiful thing about loving awareness. So I led you to that place to give you sort of a baseline, you know, something to kind of calibrate and attune you to what the voice of loving awareness and the intuition, how that might show up. Not saying it's exactly like that, but I'm just trying to lead you that direction. I'm doing my best to translate my internal experiences into something that helps lead you to your own very powerful internal and direct intuitive experiences. Okay, so pay attention to that. And the reason why I I love combining this intuitive sort of investigating and asking with meditation is because it allows us to get into a still, calm, and peaceful space. It creates the space, like I talked about in the meditation piece, about how we create space for something else to come in, whether that's creativity, whether it's intuitive understanding, whether it's the voice of loving awareness, or just our own just peaceful reflection. That part of ourselves, our mind that wants to reflect, but from a peaceful place, we're allowing for that space. So the questions that people ask, I said they ask a lot is, how do I know the difference between like my inner voice and the voice of intuition or the voice of loving awareness? And another way we kind of get away from the monkey mind and the ego is by not trying to make, not trying to like be in the mix of something chaotic or a lot of activity and then think we're getting an intuitive hit, but we're not sure, and we're very confused because there's a lot of stuff going on, and I think my mind is just racing, but I think that was information. If that happens, well, what we do is we retreat to our quiet space, right? We seek refuge in our meditation and our spiritual connection to the divine, and we get quiet and we create the space and we say, okay, this stuff was going on today, but I'm gonna get quiet, I'm gonna get still, and now from this calm, peaceful place, open up to what wants to be revealed. And over time for me, like I started to trust what comes up in my meditative space more so than maybe the ramblings of my mind. That's how I started to figure out how to discern between my ego and the conditioning and the fears and the traumatic experiences and, that loving part of myself, the loving part of divine awareness that wants to be lived and expressed through me and to me. That is how I stepped into that. The meditation piece was important. Creating a safe and peaceful space to have that dialogue was how I found my way into being more discerning about when intuitive information would come in and when maybe I needed to kind of like, kind of put that on the back burner and wait till later to revisit it later. Okay. So explore your clairaudience this week. Play with it. I've given you some sort of practical ways to tune into a more deep listening, to a deeper intuitive listening. Some of the prompts that you'll see this week are when you watch a movie, we're going back to movies and stuff. You watch a movie or a TV show, pay attention to the way the sound composer uses music to accentuate moments or to convey an emotion, to create excitement, to create tension, Gosh, if you want to listen to tension, like music that creates tension, listen to the soundtrack for Dunkirk. Like, you don't even have to see the visuals, and just listening to that score, I get anxiety. If you want anxiety, go ahead and listen to that soundtrack. Make sure you do some clearing breaths to get rid of it. But that's one of the things we can do is like we can really start to tune in and really deeply listening to how sound is used to convey emotion and what's being communicated through sound. That's a really helpful tool for improving our intuitive listening. And another thing would be like when you listen to music, like listen very intently and listen very consciously and listen to, sit down with music and be very conscious. Don't do it, don't clean the house, don't do other stuff. Like sit there, be with the music and really listen to the beat and the vocals and the melody and the music and see if you can kind of tune into one or the other and kind of separate the different layers of sound. This all will help tune up your intuitive listening. So it's fun because these are very like practical things that we engage with all the time, but it makes us more conscious. It makes us more aware. And essentially what opening up our intuition is just becoming more aware, being more aware of the subtle energy and the subtle information that is kind of flowing through and around us and from us all the time. That's all we're doing. We're just becoming more aware of more subtle energy. And that's another reason why getting into very conscious, intentional spaces, whether it's meditation or sitting down, to do these prompts with the intention to listen so deeply, well, over time it becomes second nature. And again, going back to how do I know the difference between intuition and just my mind? Well, with time and with practice and persistence and with recognition and direct experiences, it's so much easier to identify subtle energy hits and the stuff that's maybe not quite as subtle. And learning how to discern between those just becomes easier with time and intention and practice and awareness. All right. So engage with those prompts. Excited to hear back from you and how it goes. And after you spend a week with this, or maybe a month or a year, who knows how long it is you're going to spend with it, click into the next video, and we're going to dive into some clairsentience. I look forward to diving into that with you very soon.